Good evening. Welcome to our February 9th council meeting. If we have full council here, our invocation or our pledge will be led by Council um, Arnold Lopez. The invocation will be Councilwoman Dusty Brandner. Will you please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Good evening. As we gather to carry out the work of our city, let us pause to acknowledge the responsibility we share. May we be reminded that leadership is not only a role, but a service, one that calls us to listen with empathy, speak with honesty, and act with fairness. Let our efforts tonight be thoughtful and productive, grounded in mutual respect and a sincere desire to improve the lives of those we serve. May we be present, purposeful, and united in our mission to build a stronger, more vibrant community for all of us. With that spirit, let us begin this evening's meeting. Amen.
Thank you. Do we have any comments on agenda items?
Yes, we have several comments, Mayor. The first one will be from Vance Bryce on Agenda Item 7.5, Extension of Premises.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Vance Bryce with the Graham County Chamber of Commerce. I'd love to support the extension of premise for Retrograde Brew and Barbecue. They're working with a group to bring in some bikers to come in from Phoenix and different areas from all over to have a rally right in downtown Safford. We had a really good meeting with them. They're organized. They know the rules. They know the laws. We're in support, going to help them promote this event if the event permit works. And with this permit, we wanted to encourage them to get done so that we can meet all the deadlines. It's different than a special events permit. It's extension of premise, and there was a longer runway to get this approved, and that's why it's coming before you. But we support this. We support downtown events. We'll be helping out with that. It'll be their event. We're really excited about it. We hope it starts to be an annual thing. So please give the go ahead, send it up to the state so we can have another fun event in downtown Safford.
Mayor, next we have Mr. John Stewart, and he'll be commenting on Agenda Item 7.4, Vice Mayor's request.
John Stewart, 4197 West Sage Trail, and don't boo, Thatcher, Arizona, 85552. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, elected city officials, I come today wearing two hats. One is a business person. I represent a couple businesses here in town. The other as a volunteer. I sit on multiple nonprofit boards. First is from a business perspective. I want to talk a little bit about city manager opportunities. The reason I bring that up is because in one of my businesses, I work with municipalities. Actually, some that are, I'm going to go outside the community. Wilcox, Tombstone, Benson. I just want to share how hard it is to find a city manager. These three municipalities have struggled at times, not being able to keep the people that they want. So it's very important that you have somebody maybe within the community that's invested in the community. That's one of the reasons I came up to speak on Mr. Bejarano's opportunity to become city manager. The next thing I want to bring up is volunteerism. I do sit on the Safford Downtown Association Board. I'm on the CCAB Board. I'm also the current president of the largest nonprofit volunteer organization in Lions in the state of Arizona. I'm president of the Lions Club. We have 105 members. We are the largest club in the state. With that said, we do a lot of work in the community. We do a lot of work at the city events. We do a lot of work with the chamber. We do a lot of work with wherever we can volunteer to help, okay? It's highly important that you have an individual within the city that's invested also in unique programs. This is what Mr. Bryce brought up, but also the community events, the family events. When you have somebody that's interested in that, I think it's important to review that and look at that. I'm almost out of time, but one last thing. Sometimes we spend a lot of time looking for things, okay? And unfortunately, sometimes it's right in front of our face. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Mayor, next we have Ms. Sheila Hartman. And please state your first and last name, your full address, and then we'll start your timer for 3 minutes.
My name is Sheila Hartner. I live at 1375 South Los Diaz Place in Safford. I came here very unprepared because I only looked at the agenda later to this afternoon. And I'm here because I think as a community and I as a citizen should have a little bit of say-so as to who we would like or guidelines to who we would prefer to be our city manager. And I would love that we keep it locally. We have a lot of intelligent people in our community, and we have one sitting right there who knows what he's supposed to do. He has different degrees, different things. I don't know him personally, but I've done my research. And I hope that the city council will keep this person. And I get out because I do belong to the Daughters of American Revolution, and we promote going to school, talking to children about our government. And they need to know that they have a chance when they get older to maybe represent their community. And this is something we really need to work on. And I'm not saying just hire a local person because they're local. No, they do need to meet requirements. But it just, it bothers me to see people from outside of our community that come in, stay for one reason or another, and we have somebody who has been here and stayed here and has come back to our community. Thank you.
Mayor, next we have Mary Bingham. Also for the record, she has an item that she will be reading. She has 3 total here that they're going to share the item that they're reading at the 3-minute point. She'll hand it off to the next one. And also for the record, she did hand out Eric Bejarano's resume. That's on your dais, and I'll be including it on the minutes as well. So Ms. Bingham, if you can please approach the podium, first and last name, your address, and then we'll start your 3 minutes.
Mary Bingham, 2006 West 18th Street, here in Safford. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Vice Mayor. I called Vice Mayor Lopez since he was the one who brought forward this agenda item to see if I could get a copy of Eric's resume Beatrice just handed those out to you. I'm not sure who of you has taken the time to read it, but the information it contains, in my opinion, seals the deal for voting tonight to keep Eric as our city manager. Do you even realize the knowledge, the leadership, and the talent that you have sitting here? I would also like to point out the process that several of you keep referring to is in no way an argument for not unanimously voting Eric in tonight. I asked some questions and found out that in June of '25, the city of Mesa voted their assistant city manager in as their manager, as well as the city of Surprise this past November. There is no statute, policy, or legal standing that I'm aware of to keep you from voting Eric in tonight. He absolutely has the experience, especially considering the uniqueness of our city. Most people aren't aware that Safford is only one of 2 cities in the state of Arizona, the second being Mesa, that owns and operates all of our own utilities. This in itself is a huge challenge. Eric has already been doing this job and has the knowledge it takes to have it operate smoothly. He is also totally invested in our community. He and his wife Trinity own and operate a small business. His community leadership reads as a guardian, which is a veteran escort for our honor flight in Arizona, member of the Safford Rotary Club, member of the Safford Lions Club, a board member for the Graham County Chamber of Commerce, past president for the Gila Valley Leadership, board member for United Way of Graham and Greenlee Counties, board member for the Eastern Arizona Hispanic Heritage Corporation, board member for the Graham County Victim Compensation, board member for the Graham and Greenlee Small Business Microloan Committee, chairperson for the Gila Valley, Graham and Greenlee Emergency Medical Services, and a board member of the Arizona 6th Congressional District Veteran Council. I want everyone here tonight, the news media, as well as those watching at home, to fully understand Eric's qualifications. He's experienced in media relations to include numerous live and tape news stories and has numerous contacts in police, fire, medical, public, and private business sectors. He is education, Liberty University is a Doctor of Education in Organizational Leadership, graduated with distinction, NAU, Master of Education in Counseling and Human Relations, and a Bachelor of Applied Science in Justice Systems Policy and Planning cum laude. Several people are here tonight to read Eric's resume. With only 3-minute limit, I don't think one person gets through it all. So there's a couple of people that will come after me to read through his resume, so the residents
Ms.
and
Bingham, that's
everyone
the
can
3 minutes,
see what
sorry.
he's about.
And real quick, Mayor, just for the audience, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just sticking everybody to 3 minutes. I'm so sorry. All right, next will be Joe Hancock. Please approach the podium, first and last name and your full address.
Good evening, Mayor Ortega and Council. My name is Joe Hancock. I reside at 2001 West 18th Street in Safford. Excuse me. I owned a business on Main Street for over 20 years and had the privilege of serving for more than 25 years on the Safford Downtown Association. So I would like to continue with Eric's experience and qualifications. From 1992 to 98, Eric was in the United States Marine Corps, and he supervised, scheduled, trained, evaluated, and mentored Marines under his charge. He developed and implemented strategies to improve customer service. He challenged young Marines to strive for excellence professionally and privately. He maintained high-level security clearance. From 2009 to 2015, he worked at the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety in Phoenix as an independent instructor. He led instructions in southern Arizona. He provided instructions to parents and caregivers in child passenger highway safety programs. He was responsible for legal paperwork to be completed for diversion programs. He lectured, displayed information, and provided hands-on training. From 1998 to 2014, he was employed by the Tucson Police Department in Tucson, Arizona as a motorcycle police officer. He supervised, established, maintained, trained, and certified over 200 personnel from various communities, agencies, and community highway safety programs. He established professional working relationships with numerous community organizations. He performed numerous public speaking engagements to include live media coverage and interviews. He was nominated for the Unsung Hero Award for community involvement in child safety programs. He served as a training officer for new recruits and motorcycle officers, and he always stayed updated on local, federal, and state laws. He planned and executed numerous public relations community safety events. From 2012 to 2015, he worked for the Tucson Medical Center, GEICO, Tucson, Arizona. He was instrumental in creating the first national partnership between GEICO and a local community hospital to provide child passenger highway safety program for the public. He was a lead instructor. He developed curriculum, scheduled and evaluated efficiency of programs and instructors. I ask you to please consider seriously naming Eric our new
Ms.
city
Hancock,
manager.
that's your 3
Thank you.
minutes. Thank you. Next, we have, is it I can't make out the first name, Godfrey? Rini Godfrey. First and last name and your address, please, at the podium.
My name is Rini Godfrey, address 617 3rd Street, Safford, Arizona. Mayor, Vice Mayor, the City Council, and the citizens of Safford. I'll make this very short. I've just met you, but I really respect the women that asked me to do this. And there's several that are businesswomen in town. I am a teacher at EAC College. I teach the Nativity. I also have an antique shop with 2 partners on Main Street. Have had it for quite some time, about 2 years now. When I was asked to speak, I went over this resume and I was shocked how much you've done. Have you really done it all? But first, the University of Phoenix. I'm going to start with some of your accomplishments. University of Phoenix, Tucson, Arizona. 2013, Rookie of the Year, Southern Arizona Campus. Instruct, engaged, challenged, and evaluated and assessed students, created syllabuses, performed administrative and educational activities, experienced with new technology, courses, introduction to criminal justice, introduction to police theory and practices, interpersonal communications. I don't even know what some of this stuff is. Cultural diversity in criminal justice. Then he was at Eastern Arizona College, 2023, Star of Excellence statewide award, responsible for year-over-year sales increases and new capital of over $6 million in the first year as director. Participated as a member of the leadership team at Eastern Arizona College Administrative Cabinet, make decisions that are in keeping with policy alignment and budget, and demonstrates good judgment for the good of Eastern Arizona College and small business owners. Demonstrated and I can't read them all because there's too many. Demonstrated and utilized up-to-date knowledge of small business practices, procedures, and administration to anticipate and creatively solve problems and capitalize on opportunities, gathered and analysis data to monitor the success of business and the programs. Work closely with public and private sector organizations to further the interest and success of small businesses.
Ms. Godfrey, that is your 3 minutes. Thank you.
All right. Sorry about that. I didn't get them all.
Mayor, next we have Ms. Sharon Gale, and she will also be commenting on number 7.4.
My name is Sharon Owens Gale. My family has been here for over 100 years. The third person in that picture is my great-grandfather, who was the third mayor of Safford. So I have an invested interest in this community. My family owns a business that they've had for 70 years. I care. I care what happens here. It's very personable to me. I want our community to grow. This is the man that can do it. He came here highly skilled, highly qualified, and he wants to stay here and help us build a successful community. He has provided a lot of executive oversight of municipal departments. He knows how to get things done. That's what we need. We have to have some with organization skills, someone who can get along with the public, someone who works with business owners, and someone who gets along with the citizens. He will represent the city manager position in high-level meetings. He will resolve complex concerns and politically sensitive manners. I am very much against shopping for a mayor, for our city leader when we have one. It's a waste of time, and time is of the essence. We have growth. We have new jobs coming in. Let's get what we have and make it work. He has done so many critical things that build a good city manager. He supports the development and execution of city council strategic goals. He will direct budget planning, forecasting, expenditure management, and mid-year financial adjustments. Let's not waste any time. Let's go with what we've got. We've got a prince that's going to head this department. Let's keep our community strong, and let's not go out shopping. We've got what we need. I wholly support this man for this position. Thank you.
All right, Mayor, next we have Mr. John Howard. Mr. Howard, your first and last name and your address, please.
Yeah, John Howard, 2726 West Mockingbird Loop, Thatcher, Arizona. I just want to declare that I'm not here as a county supervisor. I'm here as a business owner and a member of the Safford Downtown Association, vice president. I just want to say, I was at the last meeting and y'all talked about the process. That you wanted to give the citizens the opportunity to have the process and to go through this process to be fair. Well, I think the process, there's several parts of that process in my knowledge, and this is part of the process. You can choose this man. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to go anywhere. The process has already been done. You vetted him once. Why vet him again? And look who you chose. You went for the process, and this is who you chose. So why keep delaying it? Your contract's only for a year, I think, is what you offer your city managers. So he's already been here a couple months, 10 more months. What are you accomplishing by wasting 2 or 3 more months to go on about this? And I've also known Eric as a friend, and we've done very, very many events. His support, he supports our downtown. He supports our local businesses. He's a man of integrity. He's a man that you can trust. I've also heard, well, he doesn't have the knowledge. He's not qualified for this job. I beg to differ. He has several people in this room on his staff, in his departments, that he will certainly reach out to and ask, and he will learn what he doesn't know. But I imagine they are willing to help him. I've always also seen the morale of this city already pounded up. It's already went to the sky already, just and other entities, everyone. So why waste everybody's time? Let's get this city moving. Your constituents have spoken to you. That's who put you guys in this chair. So listen to what they have to say. Why drag it out? Thank you.
Mayor, next we have Miss Jenny Howard.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to speak to you this evening as a business owner in Safford. I own 2 businesses, one on the highway, one on Main Street, Genevieve's and the Tiny Bean. But I've also been an employee of the city of Safford for 14 years, including project manager, grant writer for the city, and director of Public Works and Utilities. During the time I was director of Public Works and Utilities, I was responsible for over half of the employees and about 70% of the city's budget. I worked alongside city managers, 4 of them throughout my tenure. I know what it takes to be a city manager. And I was the director when the decision was made to mandate that the city manager live within the city limits. The reason for that was so they make decisions in the best interest of the city. It doesn't work that way. You saw the list of volunteering that Eric does community-wide. City managers throughout the community need to take the community in mind, and their cities, obviously, but you have to look at it as a whole to make everything work together. But that was the main reason for it, and I think it's failing. I think that you guys need to vote tonight to do away with that. So you're looking at possibly going out of state or in Arizona to look for a city manager. Eric is educated, he has the experience, he's vested here, he's lived here many years. He's fulfilled the city manager responsibilities and maintained the responsibilities of the assistant city manager. What more do you want, and where do you intend to find it? To think you're going to find anyone from outside the community that is more qualified and can do a better job, someone that is not from the Safford area, doesn't know the culture of our valley, has no compassion for our valley, but they have a piece of paper and they want a job. That's what you're looking for. This man has compassion for the valley. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. Many of you have witnessed it. Eric owns a business in Safford. He owned that business long before he became assistant city manager. He has passion for Safford, and I have a little story for you as well. So he was in Genevieve's with his family the other morning having brunch. And I said, "What are you guys doing today?" "Oh, we're celebrating. We went out and bought my daughter a wedding dress this morning. We're planning her wedding." Guess where they bought the wedding dress? Kendra's Bridal Boutique on Main Street in Safford. When they could have gone to David's Bridal in the Valley, been wined and dined, had hundreds of dresses to choose from, made a family day of it, they chose Kendra's. And if that's not compassion for this valley and for the taxpayers' money and investing here, I don't know what is. And that's just one of many, many stories that I have. But that really hit home with me, and it should hit home with you.
Ms.
And all
Howard,
of
that
you
is your
should learn a
3-minute.
lesson too. So I appreciate the time, and have a good evening. And
Thank
best
you.
wishes.
Mayor Ortega, that does complete all the public comments.
Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 6. Any comments on non-agenda items? Okay, then we'll move on to item number 7, new business. Everybody have a chance to review the minutes of January 26th. Any changes?
Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes for January 26, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of January 26, 2026 meeting. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Mayor Ortega, point of order real quick. If I could please ask the audience to keep the talking down, silence from the audience to keep the decorum of the meeting, please.
We'll move on to item number 2. It's the library exterior mural.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff is requesting the Mayor and City Council to provide direction on a potential exterior mural at the library. The Mayor and City Council did approve $40,000 in the fiscal '26 budget to update the exterior signage at the June 5th, 2025 council meeting. At the January 26th, the previous council meeting, council did not approve staff moving forward with that particular project. At that point, staff suggested a mural as a possible project to update the library exterior in lieu of the signage project. And council did request staff to bring back more information at a future meeting. So I did bring back a little bit more information. The proposed location would be on the north exterior wall, which faces 8th Street, which is facing the railroad tracks out of the library. It's about 628 square feet. So it's a very large area. We've also consulted with Sedona Arts Center for cost, timeline, and options for advertising. They've given us a more accurate estimate of $19,000 to $25,000 in total for the project. Supplies, materials, design stipends, lodging if for some reason the artist isn't local, and they've suggested a timeline of up to 6 months. The Arts Center would help us in advertising, compiling the applications, and for additional cost of $500. So with that, they would post it and promote it within the arts community, locations that we're not familiar with and we're not aware of. They get the word out a little bit better than we would. So we are requesting a couple of things from the mayor and council this evening. If they would like us to pursue a mural for the north exterior wall of the library in lieu of that exterior signage project, it would be the same using the monies from that project. And if you would like to review those final design choices if we do go forward. And I will stand for any questions you may have for me.
I'm really excited about the mural.
Okay.
I think it would be amazing. Although I would like to see someone local.
Yes.
I want to keep local because we've got some great artists here. But like you said, I would like to see the finalists and
Yes.
maybe get it out to the public and let them vote.
Mhm.
They're the ones who use the library, so I'd really like to see a lot of public input on this. Also, it's our 250th year, so I'd like to see them incorporate something of that for the United States 250th celebration if we can.
Okay. Yes, and the Sedona Arts Council, they give us a couple of different ways they could advertise it. So they could go and specifically advertise in the local community. And that would ideally be where we would get our artists from. We can go statewide, we can go local, we can really go as wide as we want to for a project of this size. They gave us several options. And I've attached like what a sample RFP or request for qualifications would look like. I based it on a template they gave us for Fry's stores. They actually solicited local artists for murals for their stores. And this is kind of the layout they did. And they recommended the 6 months because we may be in the queue. If we do get a local artist, maybe there's someone, there's a project they're working on. It gives them some time to complete it as well.
Mayor, I'm interested in seeing this pursued.
I too was hoping your timeline's August on this last one. So that would be way past the 250th anniversary. I too side up with Councilman Bratner. That'd have been nice if we'd have done that ahead of time.
Right.
I'm not sure because we said no to your first request that we don't have to go through the hoops of reallocating the money legally or what? I have that question on my mind, which would be for the finance officer. Can we move that monies over after we've already told you no? Is that pocket still available? I don't know.
From my understanding from the finance director, yes, that pocket of money is still there. It's still allocated for a project. And if it were to go into next year, it'd be a carryover. So the money's already there, so we can still utilize it for, since it's a similar project, it's still to update the exterior of the library.
Mayor and council, your finance director was already on the spot sending the
Yeah,
messages.
that's what I
Yes,
was
we
wondering.
will have to bring a resolution back to the council to get that money reallocated prior to spending any of that on the mural, if that's the direction we received this evening.
I saw Mr. Bingham smile, so I knew he was good. Well, I don't mind looking into it, Director.
Anybody else?
Do we need a motion just to,
Mayor, Councilman Hemphill, yes. So if there is a motion, it'd be to give direction to Ms. Silva to proceed with bringing back that resolution to move the funds.
Mayor, I move that we approve direction to Ms. Silva to bring back a resolution for the mural project.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second to bring back resolution for the library signage project? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3, this is a letter of support request for LF Quinn Memorial Highway.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for the Mayor and Council to consider a request a letter of support for Lester F. Quinn Memorial Association for City Council to authorize the formal letter of support endorsing the proposed naming of the portion of State Route 77, which is from Winkleman to Globe, Arizona, as the L.F. Quinn Memorial Highway. The background on this is the clerk's office. We received an email from Mr. Quinn's might be great-grandson, and he's actively working on doing the memorial for his great-great-great-grandpa. So we received the written request and comes from the Lester F. Quinn Memorial Association seeking the City Council consideration and authorization of a formal letter of support for the proposed designation of a portion of the State Route 77. Lester Floyd Lech Quinn is a native of Safford and served in various public roles including Gila County Supervisor, Undersheriff of Gila County, Arizona, Arizona Highway Commissioner, and a World War I veteran. The proposed highway segment is located outside of Safford city limits. However, the request notes that Mr. Quinn's historical connection to the city as his birthplace and family home. Authorization of letter of support would be advisory in the nature and would not obligate the city to any financial commitment, jurisdictional responsibility, or any regulatory action. Council may consider whether providing a letter of support is appropriate given the historical connection to the city of Safford and the significance of the individual being honored. Staff does recommend that the council consider the request, and if it is deemed appropriate, to authorize for the mayor to sign a formal letter of support on behalf of the city. Alternatively, council may choose to not take any action or provide other direction to staff. And I did provide in an email to the council the history that was provided by Mr. Avery France, the great-grandson, and then also the letter of support that we did type up and we have had vetted through our city attorney. So with that, I stand for any questions.
I'd just like to say he was a very accomplished individual. He was very involved for many, many years. And I sure support the letter. Action.
Mayor, I move that we approve an authorization for a letter of support
Second.
for the LF Quinn Memorial Highway, sorry.
He's really excited.
We have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support for the LF Quinn Memorial Highway project. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Number 4, Vice Mayor, City Manager contract and residency requirement.
Give me a minute here, Mayor, and I will check down my notes.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll introduce the item. So this is a request from Vice Mayor to consider the city manager contract and residency requirement for Mr. Eric Bejarano. Sorry, I lost my spot. So Vice Mayor is requesting that the City Council discuss and have possible action regarding offering a one-year employment contract to Mr. Eric Bejarano as city manager in lieu of initiating a recruitment process for the vacancy, and if approved, consideration of the waiver of the city's residency requirement, including whether such waiver would be temporary or permanent. Background on this is the city manager position is currently vacant. Vice Mayor Lopez has requested that the City Council consider offering the one-year contract. In addition to city policy requires that the city manager to reside within City of Safford limits. Mr. Bejarano does not currently reside within city limits. Therefore, if the council approves offering a contract, the council would also need to consider whether to grant a waiver of residency requirement, and if so, whether such waiver it be temporary or permanent. The analysis on this, the city council has the authority to appoint the city manager, approve appointment contracts, and grant waivers to the city policy requirement. If council approves the contract, consideration of the residency waiver would be required in order for Mr. Bejarano to serve as city manager while residing outside city limits. Council may determine the scope and duration of any such waiver, including whether it is temporary or permanent, or may choose to not grant the waiver. Council may also elect to decline the request and direct staff to initiate the recruitment process for the city manager vacancy. On recommendation, staff makes no recommendation and presents the item at the request of Vice Mayor Lopez for the council consideration. And with this, I hand it off to Mayor Lopez.
I'm not used to you giving that much info before an item B. Don't know why that took place, but thank you. Okay, it's a little difficult for me looking out and knowing the majority of you. I once knew a man who said that it was quite difficult for him to speak in front of his own. Sometimes it was trouble. But as this has gone on already, we have seen by many that have spoke that Mr. Bejarano has the aptitude to do this. What I also like about it is he also has the attitude. He has the aptitude and he has the attitude to carry on in our community. He has shown that over and over again. When we first brought him here, it was the idea that he would be groomed, and I felt that we would have him for our city manager eventually. I was glad to see that, because when my term was done here, it would have been left in good hands. And I still want to be able to see that. No manager that has come to Safford has been totally prepared for Safford. It is unique, like Mary had said, compared to Mesa. We own our own utilities, several enterprises and businesses that are also managed. We try to manage them enterprises like the electric, for example, so that we can go out with other communities and try to get the best price for our energy so that we don't have to pass on other things that cost our people lots of money or more money. I believe he can keep an eye on that. Mr. Kincaid wasn't ready. Mr. Skeet wasn't ready. Mr. Casellas wasn't ready. And Eric isn't totally ready because we're Safford. We're unique. We have more. But I know that if you want to be successful, you surround yourself with successful people. We are in the best position we've ever been with the successful employees that we have. We have very strong directors in our utilities, our public works, our finance, and not only that, but their supervisors are strong too. Mr. Bejarano was surrounded by successful people. He can only succeed. And with the support I see in here, he's succeeded already in lots of ways that you're going to keep an eye on him along with me. And so, and I hope that's what it is that takes place. I know that some example of not everybody's perfect. We have an agenda item 9.1 coming up that shows that some things fell through the cracks on the former manager's watch. We, with findings from the 23 capital assist material weakness criteria showed up. We'll be talking about this later tonight. It's something that fell through. It ended up getting caught, and it has corrective action. But just to give you a brief on it, the city is required to properly update the fixed asset accesses, subledgers, and general ledgers to properly reflect all activity, additions, disposals throughout the fiscal year. The city must implement policies and procedures to thoroughly review and update the detailed capital asset records listings of Safford. The procedure should be done at least annually. In addition, federal, state grantors require the review of inventory of city capital assets purchased with grant monies at least biannually. The best practice by the government office states an annual inventory of all assets should be performed. What condition came up from this was that no normal procedures had been implemented at the city to thoroughly review the capital assets listing of the city and reconcile current year expenses and to additions. By having these procedures was instrumental in causing the capital assets listing of the city to require adjustments and corrections. So we have to go back and clean up some stuff from a former human. That's the way it goes. No, none of us are perfect, but I feel we have a closest to perfect staff. We have even Mrs. Howard. When she changed jobs, it fell in the lap of Mr. Henry. All of it, not just the utilities and the public works, it all fell into Mr. Henry's lap, and he went through it. I believe our staff is strong. I believe they can handle it. I believe we're in the best position we've ever been to do this, and the support from the community is certainly shown here. I don't see how he can fail with all the successful people he's surrounded by. So I do ask my fellow council members to consider doing this. We don't give contracts for usually longer than a year. And I would like them to consider doing it for a year. And also suspending the residency clause so that it can take place. I'm running out of thoughts, and I don't want to go on because I'll hear it when I get home. So I would like to make a motion that we offer Mr. Bejarano a year contract and that we waive the residency clause so that we can work with him.
Mayor, I'd like continued discussion before we proceed, preferably.
I actually would like to continue discussion. I just want to start with just two quick facts. The council has previously approved an agreement with Eric, with Mr. Bejarano already, so we already have a current agreement, employment agreement with him for interim city manager. That was approved unanimously and I believe accepted with Eric. And so, and then also, we as a council unanimously have voted to pursue recruitment through our human resources department, who we feel is very capable of doing that. And that, we just approved that unanimously as well. We've already started that process, and I would be in favor of continuing on that path and seeing it through and going through that process.
I'll add that I agree with Councilman Flores. I do real quickly, Vice Mayor, just want to start where you did and point out that we get purpose and background for every agenda item, so I'm not sure why that was unusual this time. And I'll say also at the beginning, if this passes, I'm completely in favor of waiving the residency requirement permanently if Eric's chosen tonight. That's how I felt about that way back when we changed it. So I'm in favor of waiving that requirement if this passes. I don't want to repeat anything I said last time. I used examples of our past department heads who have had to go through the same process as well. I won't bring those up again. I do want to add one, though, and that's B, who is more recent and probably fits this even more closely. B was hired, I think, as administrative assistant in the city clerk's
Councilman
office.
Hemphill, for the city clerk's office?
Yes.
Yes.
And then, gosh, not 6 months later, I think our clerk left. I don't remember why. And B became the interim. She was named interim clerk.
Just for clarification, I went in December of '22 into the clerk's office as admin assistant. The former clerk left in March. By March 1st, she
Okay.
was gone in 2023.
So it hadn't been here long.
Not in the
And-
clerk's office.
And was given the interim title and killed it. Did a fantastic job. I think it was a similar consensus. I wouldn't say everybody because that's just probably not ever the right word to use. But pretty much everybody thought B was the person for the job. And still, it was opened. She applied. She interviewed. She competed for the position, and she won it. And I'm still there. And my concern isn't what any other cities have ever done. It's what we do and how we operate. And that's how we have operated in the past. And the support that I'm hearing for Eric now, and let me back up a second too. I specifically didn't mention Eric last time because that wasn't the agenda item. I hinted at it, but I didn't want to go off the agenda. My views have nothing to do with how well I think Eric might perform if he's given this job. And the support that has been shown tonight is important to me. But the process is also important to me. And that can get thrown around like, and I get it. But when we created the assistant city manager position, we had an internal candidate who was a finalist, who didn't get the position. And had we not done that process then, it's extremely conceivable that this person would have just been promoted. And we wouldn't even have Eric. The process gave us Eric. And I'm not willing to insist that all the other department heads, high-level positions in the city rise to that level and that we skip that for our most important position. So again, that my vote tonight against this, Vice Mayor, will be because of that.
Luke has turn.
Just like last meeting, I'm glad we have Eric here. I'm listening to you guys. This is where I want to go. We have a local guy here finally. I worked for the city for 21 years. I don't know how many city managers we went through, but yeah, we never had anybody local. And like Howard said, they know our culture. Like, we're not going to bring somebody in that doesn't know what's going on. He's been here. He's proved himself. It's not like we just going to give it to him. He's proven himself. He does stuff that we don't ask him to do. I've heard, well, he doesn't have to do that. Well, he does. He goes out to the jobs, city workers that are here, that he shows up. And he's not there to boss him around. He's there to ask, what can I help you with? What else do we want? That's what we're looking for right now. And I'm all for waiving the residency also, but I want to move forward. I just want to start now and put Eric in. That's what I'm for.
Mayor, point of order to the audience, please keep the noise, the clapping, the talking down, please. Where they're not actually voting yet, they're just in discussion. Thank you.
I wrote mine down because I ramble. So I'd like to take a few minutes to share why I believe offering our interim city manager a one-year contract is the best path forward for our city. This decision isn't about avoiding a process. It's about recognizing, like Luke said, a proven leadership that already is delivering results. Our employees like him. It's been amazing. I can't tell you of a single person that I've talked to anywhere that doesn't like him. And he didn't ask for this, by the way. I nominated him that night. I don't know if anyone realizes that, but I nominated him that night and basically threw it in his lap. And he's taken it and done a great job and ran with it. So a nationwide search being done in-house would cost time, money, and momentum with no guarantee we'd find a candidate as qualified or as committed to our community. We have to pay for travel, hotel, food, rental car. We have to go through the process of all of us scheduling to get together to do this interview. And even if it is an e-interview or a Zoom, we still have to schedule that. It's wasting more time. A one-year contract is a fiscally responsible and balanced approach. It allows us to continue the positive progress already underway, support our employees with stable leadership, and revisit the long-term decision once we have a full year of measurable results. We're a few months in. We're going to be 6 months in. By the time we finish this process, I don't see what a year would hurt. Tonight and at the last meeting, we've seen overwhelming community support. It's on Facebook, it's out in the public, it's everywhere you go, you get stopped. From citizens who have nothing to gain personally. Most of these people out here have nothing to gain from this. They're here in support of their community, and I'm impressed with, sorry, Miss Gale, 100 years of her family living here. She's dedicated. We had 4 former council members here last time, and our entire board of supervisors supporting him, all standing behind Eric. That kind of united endorsement from people who understand public service and accountability should carry some weight. I don't know, and I'm gonna put this out there, like, I don't know where we think we're coming from, that we know better, but we don't. We don't. None of us had any experience, and these people elected us and put us up here to give their opinion and their voice. So for us to spit in their faces and think we know better, that's pretty sad. If we pass Eric over simply for the optics of saying we conducted a nationwide search, we were sending the wrong message to every employee in this organization. Our staff deserves to know that their dedication and performance actually lead somewhere. And we do. We talk about all the internal growth. We love our employees. We're going to pay them. We're going to do this. But when the rubber hits the road, I don't see the rubber hitting the road. We don't need to just talk about it. We need to act on it. Choosing not to promote a capable internal leader because that's what we've done before or it looks better to search elsewhere undermines our culture that we say we want. If we want employees to invest in the city, we have to show we're willing to invest in them. In short, before us, we have a leader who is educated, he's experienced, he's respected, and he's trusted. And not just by the people here, but by the voices that have came, who have commented, who have called, who have emailed, who have stopped me in Home Depot, Walmart. I literally cannot go anywhere without getting stopped with support for him. Both inside City Hall and throughout the community, let's not allow outside voices to divide us or undermine that success because we have people out there trying to poison the well, and we need to move forward. past leadership is gone. We need to move forward. We need to take our city where we know it can go. We've got a lot to focus on. So I wholeheartedly believe offering him a one-year contract is a vote for his integrity. It's a vote for our integrity. It's a vote for stability, for good governance. And it's time that we get back to business. We talk about getting back to business. Let's not stall anymore. We've already got someone there. Let's just move forward. I'm totally for waiving the residency requirement and getting going tonight and being done, and let's go. We got a budget to focus on. We got a city to move forward. We got infrastructure we need to focus on. This shouldn't be something holding us back anymore.
Here, I have one more quick comment. I just want to add, someone mentioned earlier that we have a lot of really great local talent and local people who could be qualified for this position. And I agree with that. In fact, I worked for the city for 7 years, and I worked with most of the department heads and department managers. And there were a lot of them who I believe could be qualified for that position. And I would like it to be open and offered and available for them to apply as well. That's another reason why I would be in favor of this, of not approving this.
Any more discussion? It's an action item, so somebody want to make a motion?
I think I made the motion.
Would you restate it? Do we all understand it?
I make the motion that we offer Mr. Bejarano a year contract, which is in line with what we normally offer managers, and that we waive the residency fee, or suspend it, suspend the residency fee. That motion enough, B?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to, as was stated, all in favor of
Did you just do all in favor?
I'm sorry. I'm not in favor.
Okay, so let's try it again. All in favor?
I'm in favor.
And all those that oppose?
Oh,
Are we good? The motion fails from 3 to 4 with Councilman McGoy, Mayor Ortega, Councilwoman Flores, and Councilman Hemphill opposing. Mayor, I asked if we just give a moment for the crowd to exit out for the noise, please. Victoria, could you get that gentleman? He went the wrong way. Okay, Mayor, I think we're fine to proceed.
and we'll move on to item number 5. That's the temporary extension of the premises patio for the, and the liquor license. Rick, you want to go ahead with that one?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Today I bring to you a proposal and recommendation action as follows. This is a request for mayor and city council to review and approve the Arizona Department Liquor License and Control application presented in support of the 2026 Cinco de Mayo Motorcycle Show special event in association with the Retrograde Brew and Barbecue Company. This event includes an extended open container alcohol zone complementing the current brewery location. This application requires approval by a local governing body for final consideration by the Arizona Department of Liquor Licenses and Control. Staff recommends approval.
Strategic goals, quality of life. Background: the Cinco de Mayo Motorcycle Show is a first-time special event hosted by the Retrograde Brew and Barbecue Company. The extension permit requested will support the event kickoff on Friday, May 1st, 2026, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., and on the day of the event, Saturday, May 2nd, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The event will take place on South Fifth Avenue to the 7th Street intersection, and the event itself on Main Street from Central Avenue to 6th Avenue. Analysis: the temporary extension and premises patio permit application provides a detailed security plan which will include a cordoned off area identified by barriers and signage to define the open container extension of the brewery referred to as an alcohol zone. Furthermore, there will be 3 controlled entry points with security personnel at the intersection of South Fifth Avenue and Main Street as a main entrance, and safety points along both sides of the entertainment stage located on South Fifth Avenue and 7th Street for emergency and staff only. The attendees purchasing alcohol will be checked for proper ID and provided a wristband to identify patrons able to purchase and carry alcoholic beverages. The Cinco de Mayo Motorcycle Show may potentially become a regular event attracting new outside patrons, further designating the city of Safford as a special events designation. A portion of the proceeds gained by the event will also be donated to a local nonprofit yet to be identified. This event will provide our community with a continued sense of pride and unity and benefit our local economic development. Stand by for any other questions. Thank you very much.
Will the whole street be blocked off or just part of it?
For the actual premise, it will be just Fifth Avenue itself, from Main Street to 7th Street. The event will be from Central to 6th Avenue.
Then it won't affect any businesses being open that are open that.
We'll conduct it just like we do for our other events, notify them ahead of time so they'll be aware.
You haven't notified them already?
Not until we get approval of the actual event through the Special Events Committee.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
It might have been nice to know a little ahead of time, too. I know they've had trouble in the past, or I thought so. Just heard that because of food trucks, there was complaint from one business. I was concerned if the business would, I like the event. I want the event. I just want to make sure that the businesses are with you.
Well, the Special Events Committee will adjourn on Wednesday, and we had to get this out to meet the deadline because it's different than the usual, as mentioned earlier, is the usual liquor license.
So, okay. Okay.
And
thank
so,
you.
and what we'll follow up with is just like I do for the other events, I'll walk all Main Street, hand them out the notices, let them know, and we'll, usually they'll come up with questions, but we're able to answer them for them.
Just so everybody's aware of it.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? It's an action item.
Mayor, I move that we approve a temporary extension of premises. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I just had one more comment. I just wanted to say, this is a really exciting event. I'm really glad that we're able to do this. So I look forward to seeing more events like this as well.
All right.
Yep, you're good.
I move that we approve a temporary extension of premises patio permit liquor license for the Cinco de Mayo Motorcycle Show event.
Mayor, Councilman Hemphill, sorry, the motion would be to recommend approval to the board, the Arizona Department of Liquor Licensing, sorry, just for making a
Oh,
clarification.
that's
You're not
right. We don't-
approving the
yeah,
license. You're
We
just
don't make the,
You're recommending
yes or no,
approval.
right? I move that we recommend approval to the board for a temporary extension of premises patio permit liquor license for Retrograde Brew for the Cinco de Mayo Motorcycle Show event.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve for the Arizona Department of Liquor License Control support for the application. All in favor? Opposed? Done.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 8, resolution number R26-006, staff promotions and transfers policy revision. Danielle?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request for the Mayor and Council to approve Resolution R26 006, adopting the revised staff promotions and transfers policy as part of the City of Safford HR Personnel Manual. Current policy includes a provision to address pay compression between supervisors and their subordinates. Current language does not include a cap on the potential wage increase, which could result in inconsistent or excessive wage adjustments in certain scenarios. A 15% cap has been set on promotional wage adjustments under the revised policy to provide clear guidance, support fiscal responsibility, and maintain internal equity with the city's compensation structure. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council adopt the revised staff promotions and transfers policy in the city's HR personnel manual by approving Resolution R26-006. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Any questions? If not, it's an action item.
I do, Mayor. You already have compression percentages built in, do you not?
Vice Mayor, Council, are you referencing the language we added to the policy or
Not
a
in
different
this one.
section?
We have talked about compression in the past when we went to different budgets and stuff. That was always a concern of human resources
Mhm.
and management, that there wasn't any in-between percentages. I thought in your language you suggested we don't have them at all.
Vice
Not
Mayor,
just a cap, not just a cap. I know where you're leaning with the cap. Okay.
so Vice Mayor, Council, it depends on the certain scenario that you're talking about. So if we're setting wages for like new hires, we have what we call a 20-year spread as far as our compensation plan. And so when you're hiring new hires, we base it off of years of experience. But as far as current staff and internal promotion procedures, this is the policy that we follow. So I'm not sure what other policy you might be referencing.
Well, I'm thinking you're getting to where in between management, there are spaces built into that. I thought that was your compression, and that's what you wanted to address.
Vice Mayor, Council, so the positions fall on different pay ranges. So you could have a lead on like a pay range 6 and then have a supervisor on a pay range 10 or 11. So that alleviates compression, but sometimes because of years of experience, we run into this scenario. So for example, a few months ago, we had an employee that was selected that had between 5 and 7 years of experience. However, they were going to be overseeing employees that had 25 to 30 years of experience. And that's how this, so even though they're on different pay ranges, because the employees that were going to be reporting to that new supervisor had so many years of experience versus the new supervisor, we did have a compression issue. So this is specific to that particular scenario. But for the most part, the pay ranges themselves and the fact that leads and supervisors and managers are on a higher pay level, that normally takes care of the situation. We just ran into this because of the years of experience in this particular scenario.
And in this case, you didn't give any examples of other cities and towns.
Vice Mayor, Council, there was no pattern as far as I could tell as far as what other communities are doing. It's probably, this is almost kind of a one-off situation. So I like to say compensation is an art, not a science, because it's kind of, you can build it in many different ways. So I don't expect to run into this situation very often, but we did, and so this is us trying to rectify that situation.
What is it now, 10%?
Yeah, it's between 5 and 10%, and we want to cap it at the 15% if we run into that scenario.
So your 10% is not sufficient to take care of what you're talking about?
It just depends. It's a matter of opinion. So in this particular situation, that wasn't going to suffice. So, you know, the 15% is just what we thought as a group was reasonable. In this particular situation, like the employee is still not going to make as much as some of their subordinates simply because of years of experience, but we felt the 15% was enough. And and it needed to be capped somewhere. I think the particular situation that I'm referencing was going to result in like a 32% increase. And so we did want to put this cap in, like I said, to rectify that type of scenario.
You don't show what effect this will have on our budget.
No, I don't, Vice Mayor, Council, I don't expect it to have a significant effect. It should help because we wouldn't have to have given that type of an increase. So it's a cap to help not inflate wages in this type of scenario. But it is a rare instance.
I think your 10% is sufficient enough until you actually do have more information.
Would this tie the hands, like say the city manager, like they're moving people around, promoting, would that tie their hands from being able to increase the salary if they felt the employee was worthy of a higher salary?
Councilmember Brantner, so the city manager would always have the ability to make exceptions to policies as needed. But I just don't see this happening very often. I mean, even with me being with the city for 4 years, it's happened once. So, but the city manager has the authority to make exceptions as needed.
I'd like to see this go through the budget cycle and see where it's at. I'm leery of the decision being totally up to the manager.
Any more discussion? It's an action item.
Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution R26-006, staff promotions and transfer policy revision.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution R26-006, staff promotion and transfer policy revisions. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, then we'll move.
Mayor, this approves Resolution R26-006 with the vote of 4-2 with Councilwoman Bratner and Vice Mayor Lopez opposing. Resolution number R26-006, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, approving an amendment to the city's promotion and transfer policy to clarify supervisory pay adjustments in case of pay compression.
And we'll move on to number 2, Resolution R26-007. It's a safe and violence free workplace policy.
This is a request for the mayor and council to approve Resolution R26-007, adopting the revised safe and violence-free workplace policy. As part of the city's HR personnel manual, the city of Safford is committed to maintaining a safe and respectful work environment for all employees and third parties. The existing policy has been reviewed and updated to reflect current legal standards, clarify procedures, and strengthen the city's commitment to workplace safety. The proposed changes have been added by legal counsel who have confirmed that the revisions are appropriate and recommended for adoption. Key updates include expanded legal reference to reference ADOSH, the Arizona Occupational Safety and Health Act, clarified consequences for acts or threats of violence, broadened weapons language, defined procedures for reporting and investigation, and clarified confidentiality and safety measures. Staff recommends that the mayor and council adopt the revised safe and violence-free workplace policy of the City of Safford HR Personnel Manual by approving Resolution R26-007. I would like to mention that Steve Coleman is on the line to assist with questions. And as a reminder, he specializes in employment law and provides legal counsel through our contracts with AMRRP. With that, I'll stand for any questions you may have.
I have a question, Mayor. So in the revision, it says to maintain workplace safety and the integrity of its investigation, the city may place an employee on administrative leave pending investigation. It doesn't specify if it's paid or unpaid. Is that
Mayor, Councilwoman Flores, so admin leave is typically paid unless there's like proven misconduct, like gross misconduct. So it should be assumed that it would be paid unless otherwise noted for, like, as if, for instance, if the investigation showed misconduct.
For consistency, can we add that to the policy then for it to say exactly like how you just said,
Sure.
stated?
Of course. Yes, so I guess that would be an amendment to the resolution to add that verbiage.
I just have a question on what you consider a weapon, because you say or other weapon, but when I read through here, it's not clearly defined. Some people could consider a pencil a weapon, so I think we're being too vague with the language in that, because we are gonna have that person who wants to argue the semantics. And then I'm wondering, why are we talking about bringing, oh, where did I just see that? A weapon on like city property or a city workplace outside the city, such as a firearm or any of that?
Mayor, Councilwoman Brantner, we can also include definitions of a weapon if we feel that's necessary. Steve, if you want to go ahead and pitch in, I don't know if we want to, if you recommend listing out the different weapons we can include, if we just need to keep it general for a specific reason.
Yeah, the reason is obviously that it's probably impossible to define everything that could be a weapon, and it should be applied with, common sense. Yes, in theory, a pencil could be a weapon, but I don't think anybody's going to realistically apply the policy that way. The problem is if you try to define everything, what do you put? A pickaxe, a hammer, a sledgehammer, a saw, a chainsaw, and so it's meant to be deliberately a little bit generic to allow it to be applied in common sense fashion without having to anticipate and list everything. The problem with policies is there's a great Supreme Court case that says, given the, innumerable situations that could arise in the employment context and the limitations of the English language, it's almost impossible to write an all-inclusive policy without that policy being, hundreds of pages if you want to. And if you get too specific and you started to put a list of every single thing that you can think of that could be a weapon, and then you inadvertently omit something, and then somebody comes in and they bring a crowbar, and then you try to enforce the policy and they say, well, crowbar wasn't listed in the policy, that can result in problems too. So it's common to have some type of catch-all provisions with the idea that it will be applied in a common sense, reasonable manner by management.
Anybody else?
B, will this be brought back with the amendment?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, we usually don't. If that would be your request, Danielle could bring it back.
Well,
It would have to be part of that motion as well.
I'm just leery because we do ask for things to be brought back, or can we see them when they change and they're never brought back so that we can verify that that the wording was what we talked about?
I think Danielle will answer that for you.
Vice Mayor, Council, so the amendment, if you guys vote to approve the amendment and the resolution, you would be able to see that when I send the all staff email with the updated policy and the new verbiage. I send all policies that are approved through council to the entire staff so everybody can review and be aware, and employees sign off on the policy. So once I send it out to everyone, you would see those changes in the amendment.
And then if we don't approve of the language at that time, then what?
For the amendment?
Yes.
Well, you'd be making a motion and adding that amendment, so you're technically approving it now. So then Ms. Nelson would have it written as the amendment is motion tonight and voted on.
Okay, well, I know Councilman Flores is making the amendment, I guess, so she'll word it right. We'll give
And for the
C-
record, if Councilwoman Flores, if you can please state the amendment on your motion, so we know exactly what needs to be said.
Will it be part of the minutes next time?
Sorry, what was that, Vice Mayor?
Will it be on the minutes next time?
Yes, Vice Mayor, I always include that, any type of amendment.
Thank you.
Should have wrote that down. Danielle, will you help me with that amendment?
Mayor, Council, the amendment is to add the definition of what is paid versus unpaid. So we are adding that if the employee is placed on admin leave, that it is paid admin leave unless the investigation shows there was gross misconduct.
So, Mayor, I move that we approve resolution R26-007, Safe and Violence-Free Working Place Policy with an amendment stated as the HR Director just stated to be included in the policy.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution R26-007, Safe Workplace Free Violence Policy with the amendment stated. All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you. Mayor, this approves resolution number R26-007 with a vote of 4-2 with Councilwoman Bratner and Vice Mayor Lopez opposing. The resolution will be amended to include, to add the definition of what is paid and not paid when someone is placed on admin leave, and it would be paid if they're not found. Sorry, Councilman McGoy, Vice Mayor Lopez opposed, and Councilwoman Bratner opposed, so that it's 4-2. Oh, sorry, 5-2. I am so sorry.
Happened on the last vote.
I'm sorry, I
Made
keep
it
saying
back.
4-2. Sorry, it's 5-2. So the amendment would be to add the definition of what is paid or not paid in the admin leave, and it would not be paid if they are found guilty of whatever they were put on admin leave.
Gross misconduct, yes.
Thank you.
We voted, okay. We'll move on to resolution R26-008, Personnel Records Policy.
Sorry, Mayor, I had to read the resolution still.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Resolution number R26-007, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, adopting a revised safe and violence-free workplace policy in the Human Resources Personnel Manual for City of Safford employees.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to resolution R26-008, Personnel Records Policy.
Mayor, I don't know if this is the time to do it, but a previous vote was said the same way, 4-2. I don't know if we need to fix it next time in the minutes or if it needs to be backed up and fixed now.
I can go ahead and read it for the record. Thank you for catching that. Resolution R26-006 for staff promotion and transfer policies did pass 4-3, or 5-2, my goodness, with Councilwoman Bratner and Vice Mayor Lopez opposing.
This is a request for the mayor and council to approve resolution R26-008, adopting the revised personnel records policy as part of the City of Safford's HR Personnel Manual. The city's current personnel file policy has been updated to reflect best practices, improve clarity, and ensure compliance with applicable laws. The revised policy outlines clear procedures for file access, record placement, and employee rights, while introducing oversight by city management to maintain consistency and confidentiality. The proposed changes have been added by legal counsel, who have confirmed that the revisions are appropriate and recommended for adoption. Highlighted changes are defined access. In the current policy, not all individuals that should be allowed to review a personnel file are mentioned. The new version of the policy specifies who may access personnel files, including HR, supervisors, legal counsel, and law enforcement. Oversight during review. The current policy does not specify that the HR or the city manager must be present when an employee reviews their file. The new policy does. Record placement process. In the current policy, employees must be notified, allowed to respond, and sign acknowledgement for additions. Refusal to sign triggers a formal reading process. In the new policy, employees may submit a written statement for correction or clarification. Public records compliance. The current policy does not include language affirming adherence to Arizona public records law. The new policy does. Administrative updates. The current policy does not require employees to report changes to personal information, and the new policy does. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council adopt the revised personnel records policy of the City of Safford HR Personnel Manual by approving Resolution R26008. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
I just had a question because we're removing where it says information of a derogatory nature will not be entered or filed in the employee's personnel folder until the employee is given notice. So it doesn't say anything about them having to approve it, but I'm just wondering, why are we removing that and not allowing the employee to have notice when there is derogatory information placed in there?
Mayor, Member Flores, that isn't common practice. I will defer this question to Steve to explain why this is a recommended change.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is more consistent with just regular best practices. Is that providing the employee advance notice can almost give the employee, I realize it doesn't say approval, but an opportunity to veto the personnel record or object to its placement before it's entered into the file, which could create bottlenecks, create delays. And so what's commonly done is that presumably by the time a personnel record is created, it has been vetted by supervisors, management, and the city's concluded that there's a good faith basis to implement this record. And so the normal usual practice is for the record to be put into the personnel file. And if the employee has an objection to that, then they can either do one of two things. They can use a grievance process or just open door process to raise concerns about it, or they can provide a written statement explaining why they object to the record, and that statement will be placed in the personnel file along with the record so that somebody can view their side of the story if they're reviewing the personnel file. That's just a more commonplace, streamlined process that eliminates potential bottlenecks or conflicts at the outset. Because again, presumably by the time the record is created, there's already been a process that has been followed to create that record, and management is confident in its accuracy.
Just to follow up then, would the employee be notified after it's been put into the file? Because if they're not notified prior to it being put in their file and not notified after, how would they even know it exists? I guess I want to make sure the employee has at least an opportunity to be notified that it's in there.
Steve, I'll go ahead and let you comment on what's standard practice in this regard.
Sure, and when you speak about derogatory or negative information, that usually comes in the form of a disciplinary action or a personnel or performance review. So I can't really think of another document where somebody's going to put something negative in there, except for those two types. And in both of those scenarios, the employee will have participated in the process. If it's personnel evaluation, they'll have been given the opportunity to review the evaluation, to sign and acknowledge it. If it's a disciplinary action, then obviously the employee is going to have a conversation or meeting with their supervisor or manager to discuss the performance review. And again, will acknowledge the receipt of the document. So I can't really foresee a scenario in which something would be placed in an employee's file without their knowledge that would be considered something that's negative or derogatory.
Thank you.
I have a question of, in here, we put the city manager, and then we removed or his designee, and I think we've already established that we run into that problem of having a city manager, but not allowing the assistant city manager to be involved in HR stuff. So I'm wanting to know, why are we removing the designee? And then it says a member of the Human Resources Department, but that doesn't reference just you. So how are we to know that all of the staff has the same qualification as you, but we're in a situation where we're not allowing the city manager's designee to have the same information. I don't agree with that.
Mayor, council member Brantner, that removal wasn't intentional, and we can add that in. I actually recommend keeping that in as well. And it's written like that as far as the HR department, so that in my absence, there is still an HR representative available to do and process what needs processed. So I actually recommend adding or his or her designee back into the policy. So we can make that amendment as far as passing the resolution tonight.
Thank you.
Sir, what, I don't remember the lawyer's name.
Steve?
Steve, you used the word veto, that the employee could veto. It doesn't seem like an employee can stop something being put in his jacket. If he doesn't want it in his jacket, it's gonna be read to him and then placed in his jacket. And if they don't like that, then disciplinary action can be taken on them. So there's no veto, this seems like rights of the employees are being taken away. I don't know why at least once a year or in some time designated time frame, an employee can sit in a room and look to see what's in their files without somebody looking at them, to make sure that updates are in there. If they were to receive an award, who's to say it would get into their jacket? They do not get to go look at their own files by themselves at all. I don't know if you think that's right.
Sure, and I'll comment on those, and I'll just tell you that these things are not legal requirements. They're best practices, and they're policy decisions for the human resources, the city manager, and for mayor and council. So there's not necessarily a right or wrong answer, but I'll say in terms of veto, I'll agree to veto, as I said, almost veto power. That's too strong of a word, but what it means is that if an employee wanted to disrupt the process and they were given disclosure and they said, I believe that this disciplinary action is discriminatory or it's retaliatory, I believe there's something illegal about it, and if you put it into my file, then I'm going to, bring some legal action, or I'm going to file a charge of discrimination. Then it hits the pause button on the process of moving forward with that documentation. If the document is placed in the file first and then there's a conversation, at least you now have a complete record. It can always be withdrawn if an employee makes a compelling case that there's something that's inaccurate or inappropriate about it, but it's done after the fact. That's typical. Again, not legally required, but that's a fairly standard practice. As far as people reviewing their personnel file, the only issue of having supervision there is to ensure that there's not any tampering with the file. Because keep in mind, this is a public record that's required to be maintained in its form without any unapproved alterations or documents. So if there were to be, a copy of a file and somebody asked to review it, and I'm not obviously accusing anybody, but we all know there are some bad apples out there, and somebody were to either alter a document, pull a document out and remove it, then that would be tampering with a public record. There could be other ways that you can do it without having supervision, and that could be, making a complete copy of the file and giving it so that you have the original. But that may be a little bit more burdensome to do than to just have somebody who's there observing. So again, these are policy choices, and there's not a legally correct or incorrect answer. It's just a decision about what you believe is the most practical and is going to accomplish the goals of making sure the employees have the right to review their file for accuracy, but also make sure that we're preserving the integrity of that file.
Okay, sir, you're wanting the employees to trust human resources and the manager, but you don't seem to trust the employee in that. Therefore, this needs a whole lot of rewriting so that it can be friendly to both sides. That's all.
I do have one more. Um, we're all adults. And I don't like this part where it says if an employee refuses to sign such material, the supervisor shall call a meeting with the employee and have the material read to him before a witness. We're trying to talk about their privacy, but now all of a sudden we're pulling in a witness who shall then sign a statement indicating that the employee has had the material read to him. We're adults, we can read. A refusal to attend such a meeting shall be regarded as insubordination. I don't like that. If they don't want to sign it, let them not sign it. The supervisor and their witness can sign that they refused, but I don't think they should be subjected to insubordination. We're already writing them up. There's high tension. We don't need to just press that hot button even more and make them feel even more. I just don't agree with that part.
Mayor, Councilmember Brantner, I believe that's been removed from the new policy. And
It's still right here on page.
is it on the redlined version?
No, it's not redlined at all. It's still there.
Which paragraph are you referencing?
It's third paragraph on the second page.
So I don't believe it's on the new policy.
It's, yeah, right there. Wait. Go back up.
Right, she wants me to show the revised one. This is the red line one, so I'm going to the revised one.
And actually, that's my mistake. So the whole old policy is completely being removed, and I submitted the wrong redlined version, so that whole old policy should be completely redlined. So what you just mentioned is actually not in the new policy and not recommended.
Oh, good. Thank you. So this page is the new one.
Yes. My apologies for the confusion. We did do completely away with the old version and recommended a new version. And everything that you just stated is not in the new policy.
Do we need to table this until all corrections are made and it's brought back fully understandable and corrected? I'd make a
Anybody else?
motion to table it till it's cleaned up.
Are you making, sorry, did you make the
Make a motion to table this item until it can be gone over and whatever's been left out, assumed, or not in there, that it be taken care of.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to table resolution R 26-008 until the corrections are made.
Mayor, just to check real quick, there was no more discussion. We just jumped from discussion to the motions. I just want to make sure there was no more discussion.
I wouldn't mind a quick reminder of what was the main, I know there was one, but I don't really remember one since the last
So,
one got resolved.
Mayor and Councilman Hemphill, they will be adding back, let me zoom in.
The city manager or their designee.
Oh, was that the
That
only?
needs
So on this
change?
section here, the city manager, and then it'll say or designee. And then Ms. Nelson does have the revised policy here. She just submitted the wrong redlined version. This is the correct one here. But there would still be an amendment to this one, so that's where the motion for to table from Vice Mayor comes from. So if there's no more discussion, you can proceed with the vote.
Okay, to table it. All in favor? To table. Opposed?
Councilman McGoy, was there a vote from you? Opposed? Mayor, this motion tables Resolution R 26-009 with a vote of 5-2, with Councilman McGoy and Councilman Arbizo opposing. And the item will be brought back at a later.
008? Which one did you just say?
Sorry, 008.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. I have way too much notes on my book here.
Then we're going to go ahead and move on to resolution R 26-009. That's designating the primary election date.
This is a request for mayor and city council to approve and adopt resolution number R26-009, a resolution of the city of Safford designating the primary election date with purpose of election, voter registration deadline, and designating date and place to file the candidate nomination form. So on the resolution, the election was originally set for the primary election on Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. As of Friday, February 6th, Governor Hobbs did sign House Bill 2022, changing the date for the primary election, and it will now be July 21st. Yes, it'll be July 21st, 2026. So they did say that if we had already done our resolution for call to election, that we don't have to bring this back. So we would adopt it as is, and the dates do change since the bill was signed on Friday. I just didn't have enough time to amend my resolution from the day of when it was signed to the meeting. With that, I stand for any questions.
What was that date be? July?
July 21st, 2026. And sorry, I should mention, we are going to have 3 council member seats up for election. It'll be the 4-year term for all 3 seats.
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution R26-009.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve R26-009 designating a primary election date. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
This approves resolution number R26-009, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Safford, Graham County, Arizona, designating primary election date, purpose of election, designating deadline for voter registration, designating place, and deadline for the candidates to file nomination papers.
Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 9, contracts, agreements, and bids. Number 1, contract change order for Baker Tilly Advisory Group.
Mayor, Council, this is a request for Mayor and Council to authorize and enter into an additional 1-year contract with Baker Tilly Advisory Group, LLP. And this is a continuation of a contract that actually started in 2023. The background with this is we had findings in our 2023 ACFR related to capital assets and previous records of the city. We are trying, with the help of this consultant, to get back on track. Things that we've accomplished so far is we've reconciled the water and wastewater infrastructure in Cassell with the city's GIS database. We have yet to perform a final entry on that. That'll be done hopefully in fiscal year 2026 that we're currently in. We did perform a inventory of just movable assets and buildings, but we still have to do that full inventory of our infrastructure, which is our major part of our financial statements. We have also used Baker Tilly to actually prepare the footnotes related to capital assets each year, and they do the day-to-day entry for us. So my staff and myself serve as the boots on the ground. We tag the assets. We communicate with our Baker Tilly consultant, who does all the work in Cassell for us. Cassell's implementation in 2018 was incomplete for capital assets, where we'd like them to start working on actually implementing the system completely so that we can use the system to its full potential instead of doing our workarounds that we've been doing for years. We'd like to also continue to reconcile gas, electric, and streets. We have got a streets GIS layer now. We actually know how many square yards of asphalt we have and sidewalks. It's not 100% accurate, I guess, but it's there. So that we can start reconciling our streets infrastructure. We'd also like to continue to do the day-to-day activities with Baker Tilly for capital assets. They did give me a new quote for this year. It's typically $60,000. This 1-year quote was $67,500 for 1 more year. Staff has changed since the beginning of this contract. The previous staff member had many years of experience. We have now moved to a less tenured staff, but she is familiar with the city of Safford. She was an auditor on our engagement. So she is fine to work with, and she knows what she's doing. So we hope that another year we can get a little closer. We like during the budget process to talk a little bit more about this and how we could resolve this on a long-term scale, not just a year-to-year situation. And we'll bring that up during the budget process. For that, I stand for any questions, and I look for your recommendation and approval.
Sorry, I'll be Captain Obvious. So we're going to have less experience and pay more. Is that just for inflation?
I think it covers a longer period of time, but they also get raises at Baker Tilly. So we are covering the raises that we haven't compensated for the last 2 years. So that's the difference.
And so we're doing 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. How many further years do you expect this to go?
I could
know
see
you said
this
you're going to address in budget, but
without staff actually here to do this, this project could go on for another 5 years, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping during the budget process, we can talk about that possible staff member that could accompany Baker Tilly and then slowly disengage Baker Tilly over the next 2 years and let that staff person take full responsibility for all this. But given the amount of knowledge that Baker Tilly brings to the game, it's impossible to do it without them right now. So they are definitely a needed resource for another year. We're hoping for that bigger solution in the budget, but it would require an actual person to do the work. Right now, it's just me for the most part, trying to keep the consultant engaged, and it's turning into a monumental task. So a former finance director agrees with me, I guess.
They do have a provision in here where you can't steal any of their employees.
Correct. That they did put that in there this year, that Marissa cannot come work for us. So
And Mr. Bingham, I'm glad you found these items that weren't being accounted for. There was even property that we didn't even know we owned, and gathering all this up with this inventory. And now we're meeting what we're supposed to be meeting, and I thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. Anybody else? Not, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 2.
I'm just looking for approval of my resolution, Mayor.
That we approve the contract change order for Baker Tilly Advisory Group.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the change for Baker Tilly Advisory Group. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Number 2, Crosco Electrical Bid Award. Morgan?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. And before I get started, I would like to acknowledge that we do have 2 representatives from Gordian who are on the team's meeting, Joe and Ryan. So with that, this is a request for Mayor and Council to approve their proposal from Skyline Builders and Restoration in the amount of $341,267.72 plus 10% for contingency purposes. The City of Safford secured a WIFA loan for the construction of the Crosco Well Treatment System. The treatment system allows for the city to utilize additional flows from the Crosco, which are currently limited by the existing blending plan. This proposal was procured through the Gordian utilizing the job order contracting method. The City of Safford has chosen to explore this method to expedite the procurement process and select a qualified contractor while complying with Arizona state procurement practices by using competitively awarded contracts based on pre-priced construction tasks and contractor adjustment factors. The proposed amount fits within the remaining WIFA funds available. This project consists of installing switches, panels, HVAC, lighting, and power for the equipment and devices. It is recommended to approve the proposal and award the contract to Skyline Builders and Restoration in the amount of $341,267.72 plus 10% contingency for the electrical work needed for the Crosco Well Treatment System. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
So I was looking at the summary of the costs, and it doesn't specifically show what is being paid to Gordian for their services. Is that a separate invoice we will receive? Is that part of this? I noticed that some of the line items have a factor included into it, so wondering if that's included in the factor, or how would we know what is being paid to them?
And Mayor and Councilmember Flores, so that is included in this price. We issue 1 PO to Skyline Builders, but I would like to turn the time over to Joe with Gordian. He can help explain more of the technical aspect of this. Joe?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Thanks for having me. Yes, that you are correct. That adjustment factor was given to Skyline. Admitted that adjustment factor when the contract came out 5 years ago. All contractors do on that Arizona state contract, and in that adjustment factor is general requirements, which will cover lodging, cell phones, fuel, trucks, tools, the contract fees. So at that 47% on this project here is because it's a federally funded project, which the contractor has to abide by federal guidelines, Davis-Bacon wages. So there's a lot more paperwork involved on that specific job here at 47%. So everything included from general requirements all the way to the contract fees for the state of Arizona's contract and Gordian's fees are included in that adjustment factor.
Is there a way to break that out and have at least a summary that would show what is Gordian's fee? This is something new to us, just to be transparent of, when we're doing these projects, how much of that is going to this new process that we've gone with.
Sure, we can break it down for you, but if in that 47%, you'll have a 2% contract fee from the state of Arizona. And then Gordian's fee is at 6%. And within that 6%, we come out and walk every project with you guys. It's a 5-step process. We have boots on the ground that walk the project with your facilities director, your public works director. We review the proposals for accuracy to the state contract, accuracy to the scope of work. We usually remove between, I would say, 5 and 14%, sometimes more, on a review of a proposal before it even gets to an owner's desk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Morgan, just a simple thing that I look at, I guess. I saw all the stuff that's being supplied. I'm leery of lightning protection and all that. Arizona doesn't offer good ground, so I don't know if we have to add some lightning protection for our equipment.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, that's definitely over my head. This was engineered by an electrical engineer. So I would trust that they have that in there, but if you do see something that we're missing, then we would love to have your opinion of what we could include to possibly make it safer. I do know that there is some grounding issues in Arizona. We do have some sites that do have some grounding, but still have some issues when it gets struck in the area.
I guess that'll leak over into all your SCADA buildings too, or have we checked our grounding stuff in all them buildings and our equipment?
We'll have to get Mike on that.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Mayor, I move that we approve the Carrasco electrical bid award.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Carrasco electrical bid award. Anything else? All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you. Before I get started on this one, I would like to give credit to Mr. Lowe. He actually is the one who brought job order contracting to the city of Safford as an option. Previously, we've had issues with CIP projects moving slowly. This is going to be an excellent opportunity for us to just keep those projects moving. Gordian has assisted in these projects, like they stated, and it'll be a great asset and another tool and resource for us. So with that,
Are you saying that what we approved a couple of weeks ago, you're implementing already with oversight? Is that the one you're talking about?
so that's this job order contracting that we just approved, this process that we're going through. This is a new process for all of us. So we're really going to see how this works for us and benefits the city with moving projects forward. So I'm excited about it. So with
Vice
that,
Mayor, Mayor, Council, yes, right now, the city of Safford for these 4 projects, they're using the Arizona state contract. And when we talked to you guys last in January the 26th, Jeff Lowe was bringing up starting up your own JOC program. So you don't have to pay the state contract fees, and you get to pick your own contractors to be awarded to your own JOC program. That was with Jeff Lowe.
Thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 3. The septic receiving station bid award. Morgan.
This is a request for mayor and council to approve the proposal from Skyline Builders and Restoration in the amount of $225,372.16 plus 10% for contingency purposes. The city of Safford is purchasing an automatic septic receiving station for commercial use while improving level of service. The proposed award fits within the budgeted amount and would include the construction of concrete pad, electrical systems, and plumbing needed for the purchase equipment to operate. This proposal was procured through Gordian utilizing the job order contracting method. The city of Safford has chosen to explore this method to expedite the procurement process and select a qualified contractor while complying with Arizona state procurement practices by using competitively awarded contracts based on pre-priced construction tasks and contractor adjustment factors. It is recommended to approve the proposal from Skyline Builders and Restoration in the amount of $225,372.16 plus 10% contingencies for contingency purposes. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
With this, I know we had talked once about where RVs could pull up and that type of thing. Is that what this is? But it says commercial use, so I'm kind of confused of what this is and where it came from.
So Mayor, Councilman Bretner, this item, so we brought this item and purchased the actual unit a few months ago through Civico, if that sounds familiar. So this will be used for commercial purposes. It'll allow for 24/7 access for commercial haulers. RV dumpers will still go into the site while it's operating. This process here is for the construction of the pad and everything needed for that equipment. We opted to purchase the equipment ourselves to avoid any type of markup on that equipment from any contractor. So we wanted to try to keep the costs down by purchasing directly from Civico.
So we'll have commercial users dumping like when it's closed.
Right, so that unit that we've purchased does have a card reader. The contractors will have their own ID, and then it'll allow them access to where if somebody had an emergency septic tank that needed to be pumped, they can pump it, go right away and discharge.
Okay. And we'll still be tracking and charging.
Correct.
Mayor, I move that we approve the septic receiving station bid award.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the septic receiving station bid award. All in favor? Opposed?
Appreciate it. So this past project, or the project we just approved, one example of this Gordian aspect is we were going to use another contractor. Prices started coming in high. Gordian notified us. We went through the proposal. We decided to go with a different contractor. Gordian handled it all, let the contractor know we'd be seeking somebody else. So it's been a smooth process. Thank you.
Yes, this was a $550 rough order of magnitude proposal.
Mr. Lowe, they were talking about you while you were gone.
I was back there, I heard.
We'll move on to item number 4, sole source procurement, Honeywell American Gas Meters.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a request for the mayor and city council to review and authorize a sole source procurement of Honeywell American gas meters from Measurement and Control Systems in a total amount of $640,244. This purchase is fully funded by the Natural Gas Distribution Infrastructure Safety and Modernization Grant. Background, the City of Safford was successfully awarded the Natural Gas Distribution Infrastructure Safety and Modernization Grant from the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration to modernize our gas distribution infrastructure. A critical component of this project is to acquire new gas meters. The City of Safford Gas Division has established Honeywell America gas meters as its primary standard since 1970s. Currently, approximately 95% of our existing infrastructure consists of these units. Furthermore, these meters are fully integrated with the city's existing Census Smart Point automatic meter reading system. Additionally, the grant covers this is outside of what I'm asking for. But additionally, the grant covers 2 new gas employees' salaries with benefits and existing employees' salaries for their time spent installing the meters. I'd like to recognize Raymond Asenio, our gas division manager. He's put a lot of time into this, applying for the grants, and a lot of time and effort has been spent by Raymond on behalf of the city, and the city was awarded a $1,007,000 grant, which includes funding for existing and new employee salaries and benefits. But I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mayor, I don't have a question. I have a comment. I just want to thank Raymond and Mr. Lowe and all the staff, for seeking out these grants. It's appreciated. It's one of the ways that staff and we're able to keep the costs low for our residents. So I just want you to know we recognize and
Yeah,
appreciate
that's-
it.
Raymond, he put a lot of time and effort into that. So.
Thank you, Raymond, for not giving up. So, Mr. Lowe, the antennas or the receivers or the relay units that we approved here a few weeks ago, you say these will work with,
That's why we're sticking with the same meters.
so it's all blending together.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
I see that it says that we'll be able to hire 2 new employees. Are they going to be temps just for this and then they'll be laid off? Or what are we planning on with that?
There'll be 2 full-time employees for 2 years, and while they're in there, they'll be paid through the grant, and after that, we will try to see if we can, we're gonna apply for more grants, more coming up this year, so we're gonna try to keep them working and try to get more jobs for them in the future. Might even be replacing more meters or maybe smart points the next time, or some of the gas projects we have. So we're gonna try to keep them as long as we can and federally funded. So our next, the NOFO for the next project should be coming out in the next couple months. So we're gonna apply for a couple other grants, see what we can do to keep them on staff as long as we can. And if that is not successful, we'll try to put them in other places in the city, give them that opportunity to see if they want to apply for other jobs. And they'd probably be one of the ones, since they're working with us, we can give them a good recommendation to move somewhere else.
Will they be made aware of this
Yes.
before? Okay,
Yes, they will.
thank you.
So they're not third-party employees, they're gonna be our employees?
They'll be working for the city of Safford, but they'll be paid through the grant, federally funded. So all their wages will come from the grant funds. Not only their wages, but all their retirement, all their benefits, everything will come from the federal grant.
That's where I was going, the benefits that you mentioned.
Yeah, and it's also going to
Forget
include
that.
half of my staff. When they're working on that project, they'll be paid by that grant. So it'll save us money in our salaries also. So we're hoping to save about $250,000 off of our salary budget from that.
Anybody else?
Mayor, I move that we approve the sole source procurement Honeywell American Gas Meters grant.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the sole source procurement gas meter plan. All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll move on to item number 5, Ponderosa Aviation Lease Extension.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Eric Bejarano, your interim city manager. This is a request for Mayor and Council to review and approve an extension of the time requirement for Safford Regional Airport Lease C-20 with Ponderosa Aviation. Background: on February 12th, 2024, the City of Safford entered into a lease agreement with Ponderosa Aviation for a term of 25 years and 5 months, with a termination date of June 30th, 2044. Pursuant to Section 10C of the lease agreement, if the leasee intends to construct a hangar, the leasee is required to comply with the construction timeline established in Attachment D, as provided by Ponderosa Aviation. Attachment D indicates that Ponderosa Aviation intended to begin construction of the first hangar within 24 months of the execution of the lease, or by February 12th, 2026, with a second hangar to be constructed within 36 months of the lease execution. Ponderosa Aviation has requested a one-year extension of the timeline outlined in Section 10C of the lease agreement, pushing the start of construction to February 12th, 2027. Prior to making this recommendation, I did speak with our interim airport manager, Mr. Cole, and actually Monday is a day off for him, so I told him I would present this on his behalf. Staff recommends the approval of the one-year extension to begin construction of the first hangar by February 12, 2027 to the C-20 Safford Regional Airport ground lease with Ponderosa Aviation. That said, Mayor and Council, I stand for any questions.
I have wanted to know if there was a reason why he was requesting an extension and construction had not started.
Yeah, good question. And sorry, I didn't know if Dr. Bryce was in the audience. The podium is blocking my view. He did come to our last council meeting. I did inform him it'd be on the agenda tonight. So Dr. Bryce requested a meeting with me just a few weeks ago. We had a wonderful conversation. He discussed some of the growth that he plans for his business at the airport and would love to keep his business local. Based on some recent interactions between the city and his business, he felt that a year to see how things with the city would be beneficial. So I spoke with him and understood his concerns and understand the business sense of that as well. And that's why I bring forward my recommendation to approve the one-year extension.
Mayor. Eric, does the interim airport manager or you have any additional concerns about approving this? I know it's the recommendation, but especially the assistant airport manager, since he's not here, I don't know if he expressed any other more detailed thoughts.
Good question, Mayor and Council. So the what our interim airport manager expressed was he would recommend the 1 year and no further. And that's where the conversation ended.
Thank you.
Good question, Mayor. Okay, this is the 1 year extension on the first building, but that doesn't extend the second one.
Mayor and Council, that wasn't part of our discussion. I anticipate in the next year that'll probably come up as well. The intent was to see if the city would extend the first request, which in that deadline, as you know, is in a couple of days. So Ponderosa is up against the timeline with this one.
Just hoping the second one is still on time and doesn't, because it wasn't part of anything that I read here. They just requesting the initial.
Correct, Mayor and Council. And I can have that discussion with our interim airport manager and Ponderosa.
Please don't encourage him to delay. Thank you, sir.
With us requiring him to build within a certain time, that doesn't benefit us or him, correct? I mean, it's his money going into building the building, it's his expenses. So I want to know why we have a stipulation there that he has to build within a year and a second one within a second time frame. I mean, to be honest, we haven't had the best relationship, and I don't blame him for delaying. So why is it so, I'm losing my wording, but what does it matter?
Mayor and Council, I guess the best way I can answer that is if you look at attachment D, that was actually presented by Ponderosa to the city, and that's where it stipulated the contract or the construction dates. I was not part of those discussions, so unfortunately, I do not have an answer for you.
It doesn't alter his 25 years with us, correct?
No, that does not impact the overall agreement.
Does it move back his lease agreement and the increases or whatever percent they are?
Mayor and Council, I don't believe this impacts that whatsoever. That was not part of the ask of Dr. Bryce on behalf of Ponderosa. The only ask was to grant the extension for the construction of the first hangar.
Mr. Mayor, this is Bill Sims. It doesn't change anything on the terms of the lease. It stays in place.
Wouldn't that, in reference to her question, until that building's built, the lease probably doesn't start?
that why it's on a schedule?
No, the
Mayor and
lease,
council, oh,
the
go
lease
ahead.
the lease started. Relations were strained, and now I think he's planning, and he spoke with Eric to try to commence construction. This does not extend the 36 months. I agree with the vice mayor. I think we should expect that this be completed, and then in 36 months, he needs to then start the second.
Thanks, Bill. And Mayor and Council, just so you're aware, Attachment B actually lays out the time period for the existing lease payments. There was no request to change those.
Anybody else?
Mayor, I move to approve Ponderosa Aviation lease extension for 1 year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Ponderosa Aviation lease fee for 1 year. Any more discussion? Not all in favor? Opposed? We'll go ahead and move on to item number 10, announcement of current events. Anybody?
I have one. Go ahead. I forget what they call it, the downtown market that is put on by Cotton and Consignment, is it? Copper Cotton, and that's really catching on good. That really is done well. I'm glad that's working out. That's all, Mayor.
Anybody else? Now we'll move on to item number 11, request for future agenda items. Anybody? If not, I have one. I would like to schedule a work session at the fire department so that we can go through it. I know a lot of council members haven't been in it, and to see what it has many needs, so we can take a look at them and get them addressed, especially with this budget coming up. So I'd like to, if we could get in touch, and
Mayor Ortega, do you have a timeline of when you would like that?
I think as soon as we can, really.
Anybody have a hang up on probably what, 2 or 3 weeks?
At least, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll work on some dates. And you want it at the actual fire station?
Right at the fire department.
Okay.
I met with them last Friday. We spent about an hour and a half walking through it, and it was very interesting. And there are a lot of needs there, and I think it'd be good for everybody to be able to take a look at it and get it explained to them. I think it's very important. So B will be in touch, right? Thank you.
Mayor, you have, Vice Mayor has his hand up.
So Mayor, you're talking about the chief giving us an idea what's on his mind?
And actually taking a look at it. When you take a look at what's there and what's on his mind, it's very important. I think it's nice if Troy, it'd be nice if you could come with us too. It'd be good. Okay. Okay, so anything else? If not, we'll close the regular meeting, and we need a motion.
Mayor, I move that we meet in executive session after a 5-minute break.
Okay?
Second.
All in favor? A motion is second. All in favor? A 5-minute break.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you, everybody, for being here.